Welcome to the Grow Your Practice podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Chad Madden, owner of Madden Physical Therapy and Breakthrough. Join me each week as we dive into the best practices, systems, principles, tips, and tricks to help you grow your private practice. This episode of Grow Your Practice Live, we're going to talk through how to diversify your new patients and really thinking about those 5 new patient channels I've talked about previously. So some of the challenges here, how can I diversify marketing channels? Maybe you were relying on something like physician referrals, just like I was years ago, and most of private practice PT was 10 plus years ago. And now the physicians are working for, the hospital system or healthcare system. You might be wondering, how can I fill my schedules and know with some certainty when I'm hiring that new clinician or opening another office that I'm going to be able to keep my schedules full. We're full right now. We have a waiting list, but I'm afraid to bring that person on, that it's going to stay like this, right? So lack of confidence in marketing. And the other challenge that we hear is, how can I improve or attract better paying patients? Is it possible to improve my payer mix with marketing? So when you solve this, when you learn how to diversify using the 5 new patient channels and realize that, it's seasonal. So for us, in Q4, that's the time we rely on past patient reactivations. In Q1 and other times of the year, we're going to go to the other marketing channels like whole traffic marketing, et cetera. But I'll get to that here in a little bit. But what's the benefit of doing this? So the first one is when you attract better paying patients, you can be profitable. And by that, I mean greater margin of safety within your practice. So when you have a greater margin of safety, you can expand and continue to help more people. You can provide better employment and benefits for your team members, et cetera. So attract better paying patients. The next thing that you can do is, fill at will. So fill at will means, you can fill schedules, fill space. So if you have 4 clinicians and, you're only getting enough visits for 3 clinicians, that's an issue. But if you have the 5 new patient channels and you know how to diversify and ramp up your marketing efforts on one channel over another, then you're going to be able to fill that schedule fairly quickly and fully utilize the clinicians, create a demand for their services. Same exact thing with space. If you have 3,000 square feet and you only have 1 clinician in that space, that's going to be a problem. The other big benefit is you can avoid that slow season letdown. For us here in the Northeast, our slowest time of the year tends to be, if we wouldn't do anything about it, if we wouldn't know how to handle it, would be from Thanksgiving through the end of the year, the holiday season. That was pretty traumatic years ago. You might have heard this story. 2007, I lost $40,000 in Q4 of our practice. And then in 2009, did the same exact thing, lost $100,000 in Q4. And that's income minus expense, right? So that isn't very sustainable. You can only lose $100,000 so many times before you get yourself really in a bind. So diversifying where our new patients are coming from really helps us avoid that slow season letdown. And the other underlying effect, if we were to add a bonus benefit in here, would be it boosts confidence and morale with your team. So if you're bringing somebody on and I'm a clinician working for you and I want to be busy, and you bring that new person on and all of a sudden they get all the new patients, and now my census goes down and I'm not really in demand like I was before, that's not great for morale. However, if I'm confident in you and the marketing system that we have in place, when you bring that new clinician on and they fill up right away and I continue to be busy, that creates a nice feeling, right? A great feeling that we know what we're doing, we're helping more people. It brings me back to my purpose of why I'm a clinician working for your practice, et cetera. So it boosts confidence and morale with your team. Now, years ago, I really struggled with the same exact problem. Like many of you, when I first entered into private practice, there was really one way to get patients, and that was by way of physician referral. So physician referral, PA, nurse practitioner, you know what I mean there. Another licensed medical professional who was sending the referral. And that was really the lifeblood of our business. We knew that if we had 5 or 10 or 20 new patients a week, that the vast majority of them were going to be from the physician, and I was kind of brought up in the school that, just provide high quality of care and rely on word of mouth referrals, and I'll never have to worry about being busy. That really peaked for us. We got fairly strong at physician referrals for a single site practice in November of 2008. We had a 4,000 square foot clinic. We saw 154 physician referrals in a given month, and no physician was more than six. So we were very wide within a single channel, right? It was very diversified. It wasn't like we had one or two physicians or physician groups referring a ton to us. So that was 2008. What happened over the next few years is exactly what happened now we know from studies across the country. At that point, the hospital wasn't really employing any family physicians, at least in our area. And then fast forward to today, 16, 17 years later, we have 90% plus of the physicians, nurse practitioners, PAs in our area are now employed by one of what was three hospital systems. Now with the merge, there are two hospital systems in our area. So now they're employed by one of those two or three systems, and they're no longer allowed, I'm not sure any other way to put it, to refer out. And in November 2008, we had 154 physician referrals in a single month. We haven't hit 154 physician referrals in 10 plus years. So what did we do? What did we have to figure out? And just as a reference, there is that uh, in January of 2018, there was an article or a research study published in the Journal of General Internal Medicine that was republished by one of the APTA publications. And it cited from 2003 to 2014, there was roughly a 54% decrease in physician referrals to outpatient physical therapy, specifically for back pain. Now, if you go to the research and you read that study, at the same time, there was a fairly dramatic increase, an inverse increase in family physician referrals to specialists. So that mimicked what was happening in the marketplace, where hospital systems started buying family physicians and their other clinicians, and then also guiding what they were doing with the referrals. So the hospital system doesn't make as much money when they send them to something like PT, conservative care, and it's more profitable for them to send to higher ends of care. By the way, and you can refute this and say that it doesn't happen or something like that. This is abundant in the research. This is not a conspiracy theory on Joe Rogan or something like that. This is very much in the medical association's own research and literature. But yeah, there was that 53.6% decrease in physician referrals. I was feeling that, right? I was in the middle of it. And the struggle was that the lifeblood of our practice was really evaporating. And I can remember when I first opened up, our business plan was 5 new patients a week, and we were getting them from a handful of referral sources when I first opened. And every night when I would go home, I can remember Steph, my wife, saying, "Hey, did you get your 5 this week?" Because we knew if we had 5 new patients coming in, 5 referrals, that we were going to be able to keep our doors open. And yeah, so again, got really good at that game. But the current struggle was that that was going away, that I couldn't go out. And even physicians that I grew up with or that were my friends and our kids were playing t-ball together, I was no longer allowed to, go into their office, or they were no longer allowed to refer to me under pretense of under threat of penalty. And then what we started doing was just in the beginning of this happening, and we saw the numbers declining for physician referrals, I would just try harder, right? Well, maybe I'm not getting into their office enough, and then they stopped us from doing that. And then we were having to find all these clever ways that we could communicate with the physician. And then finally, I had some friends who just pulled me aside and they said, "Listen, like, we now work for this system. We can no longer refer to you." And the recognition, the acknowledgement, the aha moment was that, wow, like, I'm going to have to go someplace else other than relying on physician referrals. So that's what we did. The first thing I did was look at what other practices were doing in my area, and that was pretty embarrassing. So we knew that we had to go direct to the consumer. And what I saw is the majority of practices were running ads just saying, we are direct access certified. I have no idea what that means. That's really using clinician language that, makes sense to our peers. Like from clinician to clinician, you might understand what that means. But physicians didn't understand that. Patients certainly didn't understand what that meant. And that's really, again, a destination, a pain point for us as PTs back in 2008. It was not what solving the pain for a patient, right? To the patient, it's just a small hurdle. Do I need to get a note from my doctor to see you? That's it. That's all it really was. I want to see you, seek out your services because you can help with my back, my neck, my vestibular issue, my balance and dizziness problem, my pelvic floor issue, right? Not because you're direct access certified, right? That's just again, a very small speed bump in terms of access to care. So the solution eventually was diversifying, right? Just like investing, don't put all your eggs in one basket or whatever cliche you want to use. So, most of us understand in investing, if we have all of our, wealth equity tied up into one stock, let's say, I don't know, Coinbase right now, which is an exchange for cryptocurrency. Maybe we did really well in the last 2 years and 5x'd our money, but yet at the same time, tomorrow the SEC or the Federal Trade Commission or whatever could shut them down. I think they're even under investigation for the classification of crypto right now. So maybe an unfavorable ruling comes out and it shuts that company down. But because we're not diversified, we can get severely penalized. And it's the same exact thing with new patient channels. So just a quick review. We went over 5 in the past. At the most basic level, we have reactivations. At that point, if I go back to 2008, 2009, we were doing a physician or a patient newsletter that was mailed out. I oddly burnt through a printer, a desktop printer. We did over 1 million copies on this desktop printer, including sending out an increasing number of patient newsletters that I would write in-house every single month for years. We were doing that. We were playing around with email. It wasn't super strong, but didn't really have a reliable way to drive reactivations. We had a lot of word of mouth referrals. I had no idea how to ask for a word of mouth referral. So we didn't really know what to do there. We Then we have physician referrals, right? And we were doing everything that we could there. The next level up is partners. So the one thing, especially if we're thinking about improving our payer mix, who would we want to partner with? In my case, I was looking at who is our best paying insurance and who are the top 10 or 20 employers in our area, largest employers that are offering that insurance to their employees, right? And then I would go out and create a relationship with them. We created a relationship with a credit union. They had 500 plus employees. They did health fairs and lunch and learns, and we started getting involved in that. And then their team members would come through, and it was a great relationship that we've had for the last 17, 18 years. And then the final one is cold traffic marketing. I wasn't really doing a lot at that point. And then what we started doing was first I learned how to do print ads. So placing inserts in the local newspaper. And then we started doing other offline media. And then eventually 2010, 2011, transitioning over to online media now. And now we're even diversified within that channel, which I call cold traffic marketing. So as physician referrals have continued to decline for us over the last 16 years, we replaced that new patient flow with other channels. And now we're up over 400 new patients in a month consistently from the 154, but that's all because of we can go to other channels to drive new patients.
Before we continue with this episode, here's a word about our course, Profitability Under Pressure.
How does your practice's profitability today compare to what it was back in 2019? Is it keeping pace with inflation? Hey, this is Chad Madden here. I want to introduce you to the Profitability Under Pressure program. This is a 90-day masterclass designed to help you build a robust financial system for your practice. Most owners aim to improve revenue per visit and enhance their bottom line. However, many are facing declining reimbursements and rising operational costs, making it challenging to maintain financial health. The Profitability Under Pressure program consolidates the best practices currently working for practice owners into one comprehensive system. This program will help you boost profit margins, reclaim your time, gain time freedom, and assist more people in your community and leave a bigger impact. You'll learn how to conduct a profit leak audit, create a profit plan, and use various levers to increase revenue. Additionally, you'll get a 90-day trial of our patient demand software and access to our exclusive Inside Circle community. Here you can connect with other like-minded practice owners who are navigating similar challenges and finding solutions. Don't just take our word for it. Hear from owners like Lance Gross, who added $1.1 million to his bottom line, Peg Gray, who got her finances under control, and Jeff Gersh, who saved time with our cheat sheet for increasing profitability. Don't miss this opportunity. Apply today for the Profitability Under Pressure program and start increasing your profits by $10,000 or more within just 90 days of implementation, guaranteed. Secure a more stable financial future for your practice. Click below and apply now to join the ranks of successful physical therapy private practice owners who transform their businesses with our program. Apply today.
Thank you for listening this far. Now back to the episode.
In the end, we knew the solution was direct to consumer. And the other story that I want to share is back in 2015 at an association event. I remember we talked with a couple of hundred owners, and most of the owners that I talked with knew my story. And they said, well, it's not really happening in our area yet. And we're doing fine. So most people said they were doing fine. But yeah, we're fine relying on physician referrals, and we get word of mouth referrals, and that's all we really need to do. And most practices at that point were sending out an email of a newsletter, like with a PDF, right? So checking a box, not really doing anything marketing, and they were fine at that. Over the next 5 years, we all know how the story ends. That went away, right? So in every market now, there's a hospital system, or in the majority of markets, 95% of the country, there's a hospital or healthcare system that employs the majority of the physicians in that area, right? It was a sweeping trend that happened across the country that forced all of us to go direct to consumer. The thing that we were talking about back in 2015, though, was how do we replace the quantity of new patients, right, by diversifying? What has evolved over time, and is pretty natural to do so, Peter Drucker writes about this quite a bit, is the first game is quantity. The next one is, once we figure out quantity, is quality. So can we attract a better paying patient with a better paying insurance? And does that, help us in the end become more viable? So that's really the evolution of what has happened. Right now, we have a game plan where we go through and we know in any given month what we're doing with past patient reactivation, with word of mouth referrals. We do have efforts still happening in physician marketing, although it's significantly less than what it was 16 years ago, even though our company has 10x in size, and we have more diverse partners, right, that we're able to have relationships with long term, who are promoting our services to their employees, to their members, to their customer list, and then also really mastered that cold traffic marketing as well. So the framework that really helped us solve this was understanding market message media match. And I remember the first thing that I did was a friend invited me, Kevin, back in 2010, 2011, to a Jeffrey Gitomer event here in Harrisburg. And I remember, so I was looking for a solution, but I was very unwilling to invest in myself for a few years, for just struggling with the practice. So Kevin invited me to this event here at the Harrisburg Hilton, and I was like, man, like I'm busy. And, I had said that I wanted to work on the business, not in it. And he said, he called me out on it. He was like, hey man, like I know you can cancel. I'm sure you're busy. You need to invest in yourself. And you keep talking about you want to work on your business, not in it. This is a chance for you to do so. And you're running right back to working in the business. Take 4 hours out of your day, 8 hours out of your day. Listen to Jeffrey Gitomer. I think you'll really like it. And I think it'll change your life. And it did. So I went to the event. He talked a lot about direct to consumer marketing. And frankly, it wasn't even for practice owners. There were 500 or so people in the room, everything from politicians, Harrisburg is the state capital, to, printery businesses, and everything else in between. Not just healthcare. It was ton of service-based businesses, manufacturers, etc. So I listened to that, and then what I heard Jeffrey talk about for 4 hours is here's how to market direct to the consumer. And he talked a lot about education, etc. Later on, I learned from, Dan Kennedy, where it took it to the next level. And Dan talks about market message media match. And what he means by that is market. Let me back up even more. Market message media match. In order for our marketing efforts to work and drive new patients from one of the channels, three things must align: the market, which is who we're targeting, right? Who we're delivering the message to. So the who, if you want to think about it that way. Market, message. The message is the words that we use, right? So if we're talking about shoulder pain, it's how we communicate that. Do we say, do we use clinical language or do we use lay language? The right answer is you use lay, simple language, right? So the message, and then the third leg of the triangle there is media, and media is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Google Ads, direct mail, print ads, billboards, radio, TV, etc. Right. So those three things must align in order for our marketing to work. And anytime our marketing doesn't work, usually one of those is out of alignment. So if we think about that with the 5 new patient channels, what we started to do, and I remember this was 2011, is we knew that we would slow down and physician referrals would slow down in the fourth quarter of every year. So what we decided to do is, if we thought about physicians, there's a lot of competition for their attention from Thanksgiving through the end of the year, primarily from big pharma, right? The drug reps in their office, dealing white powder, which is sugar and flour, right? Ton of baked goods, stuff like that. We're just competing with everybody else for their attention. If we went to cold traffic, there we have lots of competition with Target and Kohl's and Costco and Walmart and everybody else who's on cold traffic media types. So what we decided to do was go to our past patient list, and we wrote a promotion called The Greatest Promotion Ever. I've shared it in hundreds of places, including in Killer Marketing Secrets. But the result of that is that we had 74 reactivations from a single campaign, from a single direct mail piece that went out. And what that did was that filled our schedule and created a waiting list that took us 6 or 7 weeks until January 7th to catch back up on, right? So we had people scheduled out that far in our slowest time of the year. And yeah, just to think through what happened there, we knew our physician referrals were going to drop because they had been as a long-term trend, plus it was the fourth quarter. We knew we weren't going to be able to compete, or that it was going to be very expensive to compete in cold traffic. So we had efforts there. We didn't abandon our efforts, but we didn't double down. Where we doubled down was our patient marketing. So then over the years, we've evolved that, between Thanksgiving and the end of the year, and then also in June when school lets out, we doubled down on our marketing efforts to our past patients right before those typical slow seasons. And then there are other times when we'll double down on our cold traffic marketing, and other times when we'll double down on partners or another channel. Some of the myths that we dispelled along the way or thought through is, when I came out of college and when I first opened in practice, I really held this belief closely that high quality of care and word of mouth referrals are the only ethical way to grow a business. Very difficult to operate on that. And I've seen a lot of clinicians and practice owners over time say that, and then I've seen that same clinician have a relationship with a physician that is likely financial, right? So that never made sense to me. Isn't it better to educate, right, the public and be more diversified? Because now I have thousands of clients with one-on-one direct-to-consumer relationships, whereas in the other one, the classic one is naming a clinician a medical director, right? So I could have done that, paid a physician friend, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year to be a medical director, and then reap all their referrals. And if you do that, that's fine. For me, that didn't feel right. And I also knew that relying on that high quality of care and word of mouth referrals was not the only way to grow. And it felt very passive to me. And I know a lot of other people, a lot of other owners have discovered the same thing. And, you know, again, we have that trend 10 years ago, people, practice owners were very comfortable relying on that. The physician channel hadn't been swept from out under their feet. And today, I mean, everybody says, at least that I'm talking with, I know we need to market direct to the consumer. Like that's the awareness is much higher. So for those that are looking to diversify where your new patients are coming from, I do have a tool for you. It's on Facebook advertising. It's 4 pages. You can go through it. We have a lot of experience here at Breakthrough, but in this episode, we talk through the challenges that come with diversifying your new patient channels. We talked about the benefits, which is, when you diversify your new patient channels, you can attract a better paying patient. You can fill your schedule and your space at will. You can avoid that slow season letdown, and ultimately that builds and boosts confidence and morale amongst your team. I shared with you, how I went from a high of 154 physician referrals in a month back in 2008, and those physician referrals went away, and went on a little journey over the next 2 or 3 years to figure out direct to consumer marketing. We talked about that Dan Kennedy framework of market, message, media, match, and the importance of applying that to the 5 new patient channels. And then here at the end, we talked about high quality of care and word of mouth referrals and how we dispelled that myth and realized there is a better way over time, and we can market direct to the consumer. The tool. So what you can do is, if you're watching this on YouTube, we will put the link, free tool. It's a paper on what we've learned in Facebook advertising over the years. Quick backstory: when I first met Carl Mattiola, the CEO here at Breakthrough, Carl was the head of online sales at Tesla, and he said, he had a life-changing experience in physical therapy, and he was looking to take his skill set as a software developer into physical therapy. And he said, "Tell me what you're trying to solve right now." And I said, "Well, I'm doing these workshops. We get a lot of registrants from the newspaper. I'm taking all these courses trying to figure out how to advertise this online on Facebook. I can't really, and I'm 100K in. I don't know how to do it." And he said, "Show me what you're doing." And I did. And he said, "I'll do it." So they promoted for a weekend. We ended up having 35, 40 registrants from Facebook advertising that Carl had done at that time. And then, over the last 10 years, we've built that out for other practices. We've worked with Kathy Borkowski here at Breakthrough for 3 or 4 years, Tyson Wigfall, lots of other big names. Kathy was the head of the knowledge base at Facebook and worked for Facebook, lived in Menlo Park, I believe for 5, or it might even been longer than that, 5 years. Doing amazing. Just talked with her a week or 2 ago. We've learned a lot over time, and there's a quick help guide if you're looking to advertise your services direct to the consumer on Facebook or Instagram. Put together a paper for you. Go to the link in the discussion and you can download it for free. Yehi just posted it for those that are watching live right now. You can click in the chat to download it. It's a completely free resource for you if you're thinking about advertising to cold traffic marketing. If you're watching this on another channel, we'll make sure to put the link for you there as well. Otherwise, hope you enjoy this episode of the Grow Your Practice Live and podcast. And otherwise, I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
How does your practice's profitability today compare to what it was back in 2019? Is it keeping pace with inflation? Hey, this is Chad Madden here. I want to introduce you to the Profitability Under Pressure program. This is a 90-day masterclass designed to help you build a robust financial system for your practice. Most owners aim to improve revenue per visit and enhance their bottom line. However, many are facing declining reimbursements and rising operational costs, making it challenging to maintain financial health. The Profitability Under Pressure program consolidates the best practices currently working for practice owners into one comprehensive system. This program will help you boost profit margins, reclaim your time, gain time freedom, and assist more people in your community and leave a bigger impact. You'll learn how to conduct a profit leak audit, create a profit plan, and use various levers to increase revenue. Additionally, you'll get a 90-day trial of our patient demand software. and access to our exclusive Inside Circle community. Here you can connect with other like-minded practice owners who are navigating similar challenges and finding solutions. Don't just take our word for it. Hear from owners like Lance Gross, who added $1.1 million to his bottom line, Peg Gray, who got her finances under control, and Jeff Gersh, who saved time with our cheat sheet for increasing profitability. Don't miss this opportunity. Apply today for the Profitability Under Pressure program and start increasing your profits by $10,000 or more within just 90 days of implementation, guaranteed. Secure a more stable financial future for your practice. Click below and apply now to join the ranks of successful physical therapy private practice owners who transform their businesses with our program. Apply today